Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, killed in a joint operation by the US and Israel, ending 4 decades of the Islamic regime in the region. The streets of Iran saw both protests and celebrations following the news. In cities including Tehran, Karaj, Isfahan, and Shiraz, thousands of people took to the streets to celebrate what they call the fall of a progressive regime. Women were especially visible in these celebrations, dancing and singing and rejoicing freely with their hair uncovered, a striking contrast to the mandatory hijab that had long been enforced on them. We all remember, ladies and gentlemen, Iran's brutal treatment of women under Ayatollah Khomeini's rule, especially the tragic case of Mahsa Amini. In 2022, the 22-year-old actually, died in the custody of Iran's morality police after being arrested over an alleged hijab violation, sparking nationwide protests and global condemnation. Her death highlighted the human cost of Iran's strict dress code enforcement, and since then, other women have faced severe punishment, arrests, injuries, or worse under the regime's morality police. Even Khamenei's views on women and their role in society reflected his regime's conservative and traditional framework. But viewers, it seems some have forgotten the trail of blood that Ali Khamenei has left behind. While parts of Iran are celebrating, here back at home in India, the opposition is questioning the government's stance on Khamenei's killing. Opposition MPs are urging the centre to condemn the death of Iran's supreme leader, calling India's silence nothing short of a betrayal of the nation's values and moral leadership. Listen in.
ईरान में आयतुल्लाह खमेनी की इजराइल और अमेरिका के हाथों हत्या हो गई। 24 घंटे गुजर गए। हिंदुस्तान की सरकार, प्रधानमंत्री, विदेश मंत्री एक शब्द इजराइल और अमेरिका की निंदा में आपने नहीं सुना इनके मुंह से। भारत हमेशा एक मॉरल लीडरशिप देता था विश्व को। भारत की तरफ पूरा विश्व हमेशा देखता आया नैतिक नेतृत्व के लिए। वो मॉरल लीडरशिप, वो मॉरल कंपास अब हमारा खत्म हो गया।
जिस तरीके से जो ईरान के सुप्रीम लीडर थे खामनेई, उनको जिस तरीके से मारा गया है, उस पर आपकी क्या राय है? ऑपोजिशन जो है वो उनके समर्थन में खड़ा होते हुए नजर आ रहा है, लेकिन सवाल ये किए जा रहे बीजेपी की तरफ से कि ये वही लीडर थे जिन्होंने महिलाओं के खिलाफ में कई ऐसे जो फैसले लिए थे, चाहे वो चाइल्ड मैरिज का हो या फिर बुर्का पहनने का हो, उसको भी जो है ध्यान में रखना जरूरी है।
तो क्या आपको लगता है अगर 80-20 की बातें करने वाला, कपड़े से पहचाने जाने, हिजाब के बारे में जो बातें करने वाला भारत में इस प्रकार की कार्रवाई हो, तो ये कोई, मैंने कहा ये इलॉजिकल बातें हैं। इसलिए हमने कहा कि ये जो चीजें हैं अमेरिका के जिस प्रकार उनकी जो हत्या की गई है, ये कहीं से भी तर्कसंगत नहीं है।
It's not just the atrocities in Iran against women, but it seems like opposition MPs have also forgotten the controversial statements made by Ayatollah against India. Sagarika, you're joining us on the broadcast. Please go ahead.
Just giving you a look back of the statements that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei made about India, about women in general. But let me take you and graphically explain the comments that he made in 2017 about Kashmir. This is from June 26, 2017, when he said the Muslim world should openly support the people of Bahrain, Kashmir, Yemen, and repudiate oppressors and tyrants who attack people during Ramadan. How did India respond to that comment of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei? India viewed those comments as interference in our internal affairs. So this is one such view. Then let's go to 2019 when he made a comment on Article 370. What did he say? August 21st, 2019, he said, and I quote, "We are concerned about the situation of Muslims in Kashmir. We have good relations with India, but we expect the Indian government to adopt a just policy towards the noble people of Kashmir and prevent the oppression and bullying of Muslims in this region." Fear-mongering, spreading a certain kind of narrative, to which India also responded and said the Iranian envoy was summoned by the MEA back then, and we considered this as another interference in our internal affairs. In 2020, he also weighed in on the Delhi riots. What did he say? He said the hearts of Muslims all over the world, this is on the 5th of March 2020, the hearts of Muslims all over the world are grieving over the massacre of Muslims in India. The government of India should confront, he used the term extremist Hindus and their parties and stop the massacre. He used the word massacre of Muslims to send a kind of a narrative which which the Indian government completely rejected, and also said there must be a way to protect India's isolation from the world of Islam, and the hashtag he used back then was Indian Muslims in danger, to which again there was a response that came in from the country where the Iranian ambassador was summoned by the MEA, and India strongly objected to this position taken by Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. In 2024 he made a comparison of Gaza with India. What did he say? He said the enemies of Islam has always tried to make us indifferent with regard to our shared identity as an Islamic ummah. We cannot consider ourselves to be Muslims if we are oblivious to the sufferings that a Muslim is enduring in Myanmar, in Gaza, in India, or in any other place. So here he tried to draw a fake equivalence, to which again MEA responded and called the remarks misinformed and unacceptable. So we've taken you through the comments of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei with regards to Muslims in India and the condition of Muslims in India, and each time the government responded strongly, rejected any kind of misinformation that was being peddled. Over to you, Shreya.
Thank you so much, Sagarika, for that. So while in Iran, we have seen parts of Iran where reportedly celebrations have broken out, but we also need to tell you that there have been protests and mourning in Iran as well after the death of the Ayatollah. But protests, ladies and gentlemen, have broken out across India as well, from Kashmir to Karnataka. Today we saw hundreds of people gather in cities, including Delhi, including Srinagar, including Jammu, including Bengaluru, including Bidar and Hyderabad, to condemn and mourn Ayatollah Khamenei's death. A significant number of women and children were also seen at these demonstrations, carrying photographs of the Ayatollah and flags as well. We spoke to some of them. Let's listen in.
ये प्रोटेस्ट है ईरानियन की हिमायत में, रहबर मुअज़्ज़म की हिमायत में। उनको जो ब्रूटली मर्डर किया कल, उनको जो मार्टियरडम उनको शहादत हुई, हम इस्राइल के खिलाफ एहतजाज करने निकले हैं ताकि जो मजलूमों की हिमायत करे उनके खिलाफ ऐसा एक्शन ना लिया जाए, और जो भी उनके साथ है वो भी इस जुल्म में, इस मार्टियरडम में, इस एयर स्ट्राइक में बराबर के हिस्सेदार है। चाहे वो मोदी हो जो इस्राइल गए और वहाँ पे उनके साथ क्या बात की कि दूसरे ही दिन रहबर मुअज़्ज़म सैयद अली खामनेई को शहीद कर दिया गया।
Massive clashes broke out between protesters and security forces personnel in Bimna, Batmalu, and Shaltang area of Srinagar. We are right now in Shaltang, and situation has been brought under control. Top police officials and CRPF officials on ground zero. The protesters who in fact were attempting to march towards Srinagar had resorted to stone pelting, but the situation was quickly brought under control, and in fact deployment has been now made. Today morning the security forces had made in fact arrangements, some sort of security arrangements were made, restrictions were laid down, and in fact now you can see security forces moving towards the another location in Shaltang area of Srinagar to kill the protesters, to disperse the protesters who have now in fact blocked the Srinagar-Baramulla highway. So security forces on ground zero ensuring that in fact roads are not blocked, traffic is not prevented from moving on Srinagar-Baramulla highway, and here the security forces personnel now moving ahead and in fact trying to clear all sorts of blockades that the protesters have in fact enforced on Srinagar-Baramulla highway. So a lot of security presence here, CRPF, Jammu and Kashmir police, they are all part of this in fact now, and domination is taking place, protesters being dispersed, and this is the scene here on ground zero. The protesters had resorted to stone pelting, they had tried to disturb the traffic disruption, in fact caused disruptions to traffic on Srinagar-Baramulla highway, and in fact police used tear smoke shells to disperse these protesters.
Colonel Mahesh Ramachandran, I'm just going to draw you in on the point that the opposition in this country is saying, why have we not seen the Indian government step out and condemn the killing of the Ayatollah in Iran? After all, we did share a pretty decent relationship with Iran and with the Ayatollah as well. Why do you think I mean, we've heard from the Prime Minister today. He's saying we are on the side of peace, etc. But no formal statement condemning the death of the Ayatollah. The opposition is saying, why not? You're doing a great disservice to the relationship between the two countries. How do you interpret what is happening and why the Indian government has chosen to react the way it has?
I think we discussed this yesterday as well, and I had said that for India, they will have to do a fine, tightrope walk. They can neither endorse this attack nor can they outrightly condemn it, and therefore I think this is a diplomatic silence. We will, like I said yesterday, have a nuanced statement sooner rather than later, and frankly, I think that is the way it should be. You see, our relations with any country have been, blow hot, blow cold. With Iran, sometimes on Chabahar, on oil, we were good. Sometimes our relations were not good when they spoke about Kashmir. Likewise, it has been blow hot, blow cold with the US, with China, and likewise. So that is diplomacy happening, and I don't think the Indian government will ever come out with a statement taking sides, and I completely support that. One, I'm not a diplomat, not by not by a mile. And however, these protests will happen. These protests will happen because I suspect they are happening, not in favor of Khamenei, who deserved what he got, if you ask me, but it is happening against Israel, who carried out this. This act. So it's more against Israel and not pro-Iran, is my view. Sure.
Any case, this is not our war. We don't need to get involved. We just need to wait and watch, and we need to ensure, that the Crore Plus people who live in the Middle East, the Crore Plus Indians who live in the Middle East, they are safe, because there is a concern over them as well. The Prime Minister has spoken today, and he's saying that he's going to take measures to ensure that all of them are safe. Now, what does that mean? Is something we are waiting to hear more from. But for the moment, ladies and gentlemen, a massive claim coming in from Iran. Iran is claiming that they have targeted Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. They are saying that there's been a missile attack targeted at Netanyahu's office. The Revolutionary Guards of Iran are saying that their latest missile attack was actually a targeted attack at Netanyahu's office and the location of the Israeli Air Force commander. This was supposed to be a surprise strike. Have they met with success or not? That is not something the Iranians are saying. But Air Marshal R.G.K. Kapoor, would you want to come in here? This is a claim that Iran is making. We'll soon enough hear from the Israelis as well. Possibly see Benjamin Netanyahu step out and make a public statement as well. But for the moment, what do you make of the information that the Iranians are putting out?
This is information warfare at its best. This is what is going to happen. And I think all of us should be ready for such statements, counter statements. If you see, Iran, sole aim is to take revenge. And so it will do its utmost to target both the leadership as well as the military facilities in Israel. And if we go back 8 months to June last year, we saw that as the conflict progressed, Israel started using its more potent missiles, and so this is the time now. I think as Iran is getting bombed more and more, the retaliation is likely to increase. And in this retaliation, while the target could be the Israeli leadership or Israeli military facilities, it remains to be seen as to what is the capability of these missiles and drones that Iranians are now launching against Israel. Whether they meet their target or they are neutralized by the Iron Dome or the David Sling or the Arrow and the Iron Beam system that Israel has developed. And Israel learned these lessons from the June conflict. They realize that they need to improve these systems through incorporating better artificial intelligence models, where their system becomes more efficient and they use lesser missile against the number of missiles that the Iranians launch against them. And so this information warfare will continue, and we will see the effects of it as probably when the US has a press conference planned today at 6:30
is when that press conference is expected. So we are expecting more details to come out of that. I wonder whether we have Dr. Avital. It would be good to get a reaction from an Israeli as well. As we connect to him, would you want to come in, Marshal P.K. Srivastava? Of course, one understands completely that this is information warfare that is going on, because after all, when you launch these massive strikes and take out the Ayatollah, you expect them to retaliate. You expect the Iranians to retaliate. And, the biggest dhamaka that the Iranians can possibly do is take out Benjamin Netanyahu, right? That's tit for tat. That's the retaliation that the Iranians want. But is that even likely?
So they will wish for it. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. And apart from what Air Marshal has said, that they have, multiple layers of air defense, they also have the cover of THAAD. So the missiles which they have in their armory or in their missile stock, none of them reaching to that particular target, and they knowing, having the human intelligence that even if you hit the office, is he there or not?
Correct.
Which office you hit. So all that is a kind of conjecture, and it's kind of fog of war.
Correct, but at this point of time, in any case, he would be the most protected person in Israel.
He'll be.
He always is, but right now the threat perceptions are so high.
Yeah, they know that if he's taken out, then Iran will emerge some kind of victorious kind of side.
Correct.
So that will not happen, and that's very unlikely. At the moment, you can only say that. It's very unlikely.
We are waiting to hear from the Israelis, but Shinja, would you want to weigh in here? With the claim that has been made.
First of all, if you're going to strike Netanyahu's office, the big question is, you have to know, the important thing is you have to know where Prime Minister of Israel is at a certain time, at a certain place. Now, do you have the intelligence capabilities, the human on the ground, tech-int, to know where the Prime Minister of Israel is? Now, surely the Israelis, who are very good with tech-int, they have taken the necessary precautions. So, of course, what you would expect, perhaps in an hour, perhaps in a little bit, is the Prime Minister of Israel himself speaking and saying, look, here I am. Now, we have to await that. We have to hear from the Israelis first. But you would not believe that that technical incapability is there. Sure, you know where the Israeli Prime Minister's office is. And sure, you would like to hit that place. And sure, you would aim missiles at it. But is it possible that you know where the Israeli Prime Minister is at that specific time?
And honestly,
unlikely.
And Shinjoy, honestly, if the Iranian intelligence was so great, the Ayatollah would not have been taken out. 48 of your top military commanders would not have been taken out. So there is a bit of a question mark about the claims that the Iranians are making. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
You should have add one point. I also speak something.
I want to come to you on the China angle.
Attack is coming.
But I just want to add one point. They say their missiles are very precise. Someone on the panel talked about circular error probability. So what kind of navigation system they must be using to hit 1,200 kilometers away from their silos? Will they, GPS they can't depend on, because that would be already derated. GLONASS or the Chinese system? Which system are they going to use?
Yeah.
In our conflict, we use our own Navik.
Correct.
So that's very important.
Okay.
How will it be guided? Okay. So they'll be always what they claim, where it's going to land, and where it lands, it'll always be different.
Okay, we are hearing from the Chinese as well. The Chinese Foreign Ministry has now put out a statement. They're saying that China is deeply concerned about the spillover of the military strikes by the US and Israel against Iran, which has affected Iran's neighboring countries. Going on to say that China believes that the sovereignty, security and territorial integrity of Gulf countries should also be fully respected. General Sivach, this is, I think, the second statement that is coming in from the Chinese. But I'm fairly certain the Chinese are looking at what is going on between Russia and Ukraine, what is going on right now between Israel, America and Iran, and thinking to themselves, if they can do it, we can do it in Taiwan as well.
Very correct. See, absolutely correct. See, the 3-4 things are happening. As far as Iran is concerned, not much help is going to come to Iran because whatever help was required to be given, China and Russia has given them weapon, ammunition and real-time intelligence. But once the war has started off, Russia is totally involved in Ukraine. It doesn't have neither resources nor the time. China is only going to pass certain commands, but China is not going to come openly. Okay. But what has happened is this war, what America and Israel has attacked on Iran, what will be its strategic implication in the world? You know, Ukraine has been already attacked by Russia, war is going on. If Russia can attack on Ukraine and the US can attack on Iran, why China can't take over Taiwan? So China focus is totally toward Taiwan and it is strengthening its position. It is making sure it has resources, and you will see it that in an opportunity moment he may try. So one has to be very, very careful and the US has to be alert on this issue. The thing is that one should not feel it that as on today, as far as Iran is concerned, neither of the Russia or China is coming forward and openly supporting
you know, in the truest
Iran.
sense, Iran today actually stands isolated. I think there is nothing that can deny that claim.
In addition to that, you see what happened is the Middle East country, which were Muslim countries, Saudi, you know, there are reports, Saudi is the one which has gone to the US and pushed them to do this attack.
The Washington Post did carry that report, but the Saudis would have known that if Iran is attacked, there is going to be a retaliation. The Saudis are going to be targeted, and look at what is happening at Aramco today.
But
drones have hit them, and what can one say? They would have expected that strike back. Were they prepared for it? Anyhow, I do have to slip into a quick break on the show. Our broadcast continues. Ladies and gentlemen, do stay on with us.